My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
When the game tips off, the NBA action is just beginning on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because FanDuel is your home for NBA live betting. However you want to play, now is the perfect time to join. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in Virginia. First online, real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hello and welcome to 1865, the Nottingham Forest podcast. And after a bit of a break, it's the return of our women's football show. I'm Rich Ferraro. I'm joined by Adam, who we'll be talking to in just a few minutes to talk about the progress of the Forest women. It's been a busy old fortnight with 4 matches in just 2 weeks. And I want to start at the end by pointing out what's going on in the table. So we're talking about the National League northern half of the division, and Forest women are at the top of the league on 42 points from 16 games, with Wolves coming up behind with 39, also from 16 games. Now, Adam, busy old fortnight, and I think we should just take it as read that after a bit of a stop-start period of the season in terms of fixtures, cup matches and so on, that it's a real achievement for the women to not only be at the top of the league, but also to have that imperious goal difference of plus 51.
Yeah, it's been a great season. I think going into the season when me and Ellie, all those months ago, talked about it, we probably didn't think it would be going the way it is. But we said that Forest and Burnley would be top 2. Now Burnley are 3rd, but they've got a game in hand on Wolves. They can put that deficit down to 2. It really is a league of no mistakes. This is not a league where you can drop points. So Forest women's team have won 13, drawn 3, but haven't lost yet. And they've still, if Burnley win their game in hand, only got a 2-point lead at the top. It's mental, really, isn't it? How perfect you have to be. But yeah, with the cup run and Cup final coming up in Warsaw, which I'm excited for. With all that going on as well, it's mightily impressive.
And the other thing that we haven't really had much of a chance to discuss as yet is the fact that Forest did manage to strengthen the squad with three signings coming in the space of an evening, really, about 2-3 weeks ago. And all of this, and we mentioned it in our Friday 5 show, all of this suggests that, you want to strengthen when you're in a good position in the first place. And again, the players they're signing suggest that Forest see the challenge as not just being this season, but also getting ready for next season when, all being well, we'll not only be in a division above, but we'll be going for promotion again.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that the infrastructure is in place to get this club to the WSL. It's where they want to be. It's a very clear outline. They feel they've got the manager in place with Carly. I think that she is going to be the manager that takes them to the WSL, in my opinion. It's very difficult because when you go up to the Championship, you've got a lot of clubs that are doing the same sort of thing. It's not just Forest. They're doing this right now. There are a lot of teams that are going to put the money behind their women's team, do realise the positivity of having a successful women's team as well as their men's team. So it's going to be tough, if we get promoted, and it is still an if. This is the thing. We can't count anything just yet. Wolves and Burnley are nipping at our heels. Even Stoke, who we'll be facing in the Women's Cup final, also nipping. There's 4 teams really that can still win this league title, and we've got to keep winning games, and we've got to keep going, full steam ahead. So I think the signings, to be honest, based on the team that Carly's put out the last couple of games, the signings are depth players, but you desperately need depth in the running. You get an injury, and it can unravel. So no, good signings.
Yeah, absolutely, and the fact that the weekend after, I think it was the match against Rugby Borough, we saw that. Actually, sorry, beg your pardon. It might even have been against Halifax, but we saw that we had a number of debutants. We had the 3 new signings and Naomi Beddoe, who's been at the club for a little while, but due to injury has only just made her debut. So it's adding that depth. It's also making sure that the players are ready to go. And we've seen with the men's first team, haven't we, that it's difficult if you've not been playing. It's difficult to come in and just kind of pick up where the rest of the team have left off. So the fact that we've come through that period of 4 matches in a fortnight with 3 wins and a draw, and the draw being against second placed Wolves, is real. It shows strength. Now let's talk about that Wolves match, because your opinion was that Wolves were probably the better team on the day.
It was, yeah. I think the Wolves really impressed me. I've sat there writing down my notes from the game and stuff, and I'm reading through my notes and I'm thinking these are mostly Wolves notes, to be honest. Like, it's the thing is we actually play very opposite to the men's team. So the men's team like to soak up pressure and play on the counter attack. We're the best counter attacking team in the Premier League currently. The women's team don't play like that. It's very possession based. It's very, be patient, wait for the openings. What Wolves did really well is they didn't let us play that way. Mm. They've had a high press, which you don't always see against Forest, because teams don't want to get caught out in behind. But there was a high press from Wolves. So as high as obviously their strikers press in, then their midfielders press in. There was a couple of times where we got in behind, but we didn't create enough from those opportunities. So what Wolves were doing really well was just really, really hounding Forest and keep, putting the pressure on them. And it caused mistakes. It caused Forest to misplace the ball a lot. And when Wolves got the ball, they looked dangerous. I mean, I know that it's going to be a bit of a stinger for Forest fans, but obviously Charlotte Greengrass coming back and being, at the end of the game, spoiler alert for everyone here, I did give a player of the match. She was she was absolutely excellent on the day. She was terrorising Molly Green all day. She was just sat on her heels all day, and she was getting in behind. She took a goal really well. I think Wolves were well up for it. They looked like they were coming into this game thinking, we can't lose this game. I think you're looking at the league table and you're thinking Wolves probably needed to beat us, right? That was an opportunity for them to claw 3 points back and actually go top of the league. So that was a big opportunity for them. But they celebrated the draw like it was a win. Coming here and getting something, one of only 3 teams to do that this season. I was very impressed by Wolves, very impressed.
And of course, the league is a marathon, not a sprint. So it's worth pointing out that, Wolves not losing means that basically if Forest slip up, then they're going to want to take advantage of that. And sort of tactically, you mentioned what was going on there. Yes, having a former player with a point to prove, I think, makes a point. Just a word for Molly Green, because if I remember rightly, she got awarded Player of the Month. So a player who's been in fine form, and then it just shows, doesn't it? Like, when you're playing against good teams, you've always got to work at it. There's always going to be a tough match around the corner.
Yeah, I think Molly Green will end up being a WSL centre-half, hopefully, for Forest. She's got so much poise on the ball. When she's the sort of player where when she gets the ball, you just feel the calmness coming from her. She picks out the 15, 20-yard pass. She'll ping it over the top. You've seen a couple of times this season, she'll even have a go from 25 yards and stick it in the top corner. She is a terrific footballer. And I think it's a testament to Wolves how much all of that Forest backline struggled last Sunday.
Okay, yeah, and just to run through, over the last sort of couple of weeks. So away at Halifax on the 2nd of Feb, Forest won 2-0. They kept another clean sheet by beating Liverpool Feds at home by 4-0. And then Rugby Borough, who if Forest had slipped up on that Thursday night against Rugby Borough, then actually there really would have been every chance that Rugby themselves would have been in the mix. They are in 5th position. They've got 2 games in hand. And if Forest had lost that one, Rugby would definitely be in the mix in terms of it would be a 5-horse race rather than just 4 as it is. But still, it just goes to show no room for complacency.
Get the Angel Reese special at McDonald's now. Let's break it down. My favorite barbecue sauce, American cheese, crispy bacon, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun, of course. And don't forget the fries and a drink. Sound good? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating restaurants for a limited time.
You're listening to 1865, the Nottingham Forest podcast.
So we've had a lot of clean sheets, and that Wolves match was the first one where actually we conceded. So to only concede 1 goal in 4 games, look, some principles in football are certain, and one of those is if you don't concede, you're increasing your chances of getting a good result, even if you're having one of those matches where you're struggling to put it away at the other end. Just what are your highlights from those couple of weeks and those 4 matches, Adam?
I think defensively is definitely a strength. I mean, Emily Batty in goal is a fantastic goalkeeper. You've got your captain, Lindsay Harkin, is a rock in defence with Molly. And I think she helps Molly a lot because obviously you've got the experience and the youth in there. And then Nat and Cara as your fullbacks who, both neither are shy to get forward. Both of them will help going forward, and they're both very, good at the back as well. I think that back 4 has been very, very impressive. The amount of goals that we're conceding is so minimal. Even in games where, we played Newcastle in the 4th round of the Cup, which is actually quite a good, measuring stick game to see where we're at. We lost that game 1-0, and really we had chances. It could have, could easily have got some out of that. But then you've got the Cup semi-final was 1-0. Halifax, Liverpool Feds, Rugby Borough were not conceding a lot of goals. And I think that when you're going to win a league title, not conceding goals is the main thing. I know Charlie's going to get all of the headlines up front with Mel. Of course they will. They're the ones that are scoring the goals, are the ones that people are going to hear the names of. But league title winning teams are built on strong defences. You've seen that with the men's team this year with Milenkovic and Murillo being that strong spine. When you have that, it can propel your team up, and it's something we need to carry on. We've got some massive, massive games coming up, and none bigger than Burnley in a couple of weeks' time, which is a 9th of March. Circle that in the calendar. It's a big, big game. So that defence needs to stay as it is. It needs to stay solid, and I think that's something to build on.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well, isn't it? And again, something we see at all levels of the game, which is if you can keep your back 4 plus goalkeeper relatively stable, fitness permitting, then that gives you a good chance, even if you change other parts of the team. Now, you mentioned the 2 goal scorers, Charlie Wellings and Mel Johnson, who have been getting lots and lots of goals. Just a reminder to fans who may be new to the women's game, Mel Johnson is an absolute stalwart of the women's game, has been scoring goals for many, many years, brought in. It's essentially the Chris Wood of Forest women, isn't she? Because she's that little bit more experienced, able to score goals, wherever she's gone and every season that she's playing. And I think that's proven to be really helpful. And do you think that that's also helped Charlie along?
Definitely. It doesn't seem a coincidence that Carly Davies has done this with the centre-back partnership. She's got an experienced head and a younger head, and she's kind of done the same thing up front as well. Obviously, a bit of background on Mel that a lot of fans probably do know, but she was the top goal scorer in the Championship previously. So she's been the top goal scorer in the league above the league that we are in. And I think that is something that is invaluable to get somebody like that in. She's just so calm in front of goal. She doesn't flinch, and she links the play really well. There's a couple of times where she put the ball through to Charlie, who, to be honest, she had a couple of chances on the day that she snatched out, rushed out, and it wasn't her day. I think that's fair to say it wasn't her day, but it helps to have that experience in the squad, and it's been mixed really well with youth. I think it's nice to see. I think a big point I'd like to make is someone about that came on, Millie Chandara. When she came on, she has the ability to change the game just purely from the energy that she brings, and it's a real big telling of this is the youth, this is the experience, and we're going to mix them really well.
Yeah,
these are the players that are going to be playing for us in the WSL. That is the goal, to bring these young players through and get them ready for the higher division. So, yeah, no, it's pleasing to see.
Yeah, and Millie and Sophie Domingo are both examples of players who don't necessarily start every single match, but they are game changers, aren't they? They are people who come on, have lots of energy, and give the opposition something new to worry about in matches.
Well, I think Sophie Domingo she is a fan favourite. You're listening to people around me where I sit in my season ticket spot, where you've got people. There's little girls that have got Domingo on the shirt, and it's so fantastic to see. It's so fantastic that they've gone into the shop and they've bought the shirt with their hero's name on the back. And if you're seeing names on the backs of shirts, it's Sophie Domingo and it's Molly Green. They're the two that you're seeing loads of. She's definitely a fan favourite. What she's really good at is she will beat the woman every time. Yeah. She knows she gets the ball and she'll knock it. She'll just knock it past him. She doesn't have to do a step over or a flick or a trick. She'll just knock it past him because she's faster than them. She absolutely skins players, and she's such a valuable player to have. You won't see her chip in with too many goals, but those assists, the key passes, that sort of thing, that's what she's all about, and she's been great. And Millie Chandara, I think honestly, the reason she's not starting games is purely just because of the talent that's ahead of her. You've got seasoned pros keeping you out of the team. I think that's what it is. Freya Thomas is that metronome midfielder, that 6/8 that can make runs from deep. And then you've got Kate Longhurst in there that's that kind of sitting number 4 DM that can spread the ball around well. And I think that Millie has felt quite unlucky. But she can play centre mid, she can play out wide, and I think she's so versatile, and I think that's why she's getting brought on so much in every game.
Yeah, and I say, well, as you said, rather, contributing every time that she's on the pitch. So that's really important. So, okay, let's have a look at what's coming up. So there is a little break in the fixtures over the next sort of couple of weeks, and the women are back in action on the 2nd of March, which is away at Stourbridge. Then that match that you mentioned, 9th of March, away at Burnley. It's going to be a big one, that. Followed by Derby at the City Ground and then Hull at the City Ground. So March, one match each week, and I think really that takes us to April, where there's just 2 matches remaining, ending with Liverpool Feds on the 13th of April away and West Brom at home on the 27th of April. So the matches are now a little bit more spread out. Do you think it's made a bit of a difference, that the way that it's been a bit sort of stop-start in the league? Has that kind of helped or hindered the Forest women?
I think at times it hindered. I think you're building up some form, you're getting to know each other, you're playing well, you've got that chemistry, and you don't play for a month or so, and you're going to have that bit of rust. But we've got a busy schedule coming up. We've got some tough games before the end of the season, and obviously mustn't forget the date's not confirmed yet and the tickets aren't confirmed yet, but we've got the cup final in there as well.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be a really good occasion. I'm going to get down to that one in Warsaw. That's going to be a good game. And yeah, look, my message is the same every single game. Every game you can get down to, get down. They really do need the support, and I want to shout out as well the Wolves. Our friends at the Wolves Women's Podcast as well. They are fantastic travelling fans, singing for 90 minutes. Got told by our stewards to calm down, which was look, it is what it is. But they were singing, they were loving it, and we need more of that from our home fans. That Derby game's a big one that I know people will come down to. The Hull game's going to be a big one that people will come down to. Let's just get them over the line. You've got 5 more games now in the league. There is 6. I was right. There's 6 more games in the league now. That's 6 wins. 6 wins wins you the league, and it's as simple as that. And that's got to be the goal.
And it's also getting to the point where as with, for example, a couple of the matches. Let's take the Liverpool Feds match out of that. But if it's a 1-0. that's still a win, and that's what counts. Every member of the squad will be important. This is where Carly's earning her corn as the head coach as well. So I want to say thank you very much to Adam. I want to also say, come on, you Reds, to the women. Keep up the great work. It's been really great to see the progress that has been made in such a short space of time. And let's not forget, this is Forest Women's first season going pro. It's their first season really kind of giving it a go at this level and laying the foundations for what will hopefully be a very successful season, not just this year, but also, fingers crossed, next year. So thank you very much, listener, for joining us. We'll be back at the end of the week with our Friday Five. And then, of course, we will be reporting back from the men's team match at Newcastle at the weekend. So in the meantime, thanks for listening, and come on, you Reds.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
O'Reilly. You need parts? O'Reilly Auto Parts has parts. Need them fast? We've got fast. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.